WIDU 1600 AM 99.7 FM, WIDU radio, WIDU 1600.com, www.widuradio.com. Many ways to listen to us, our Facebook page. We have obvious impending inclement weather really across the country. Let me welcome in, we appreciate, he's no stranger to the We Do family, Gavin MacRoberts, communication specialist with PWC. Gavin, thanks for stopping by with us.
Thanks for having me over, Wes. I appreciate it.
Let me see, this will work better when I turn your mic on. Say hello again, please.
Thank you, Wes, for having me. I really appreciate you having us here today.
Super. Gavin, let me get right to it. We've got this winter storm. A lot of folks are, just concerned. We see the national news. We even see statewide news. Governor Josh Stein has declared a state of emergency for the state of North Carolina. But we were talking this morning. It depends on where you live. It's impacting in different areas, and we look to PWC, County Emergency Management, City Emergency Management, to help us understand. So please give us the latest that you guys see at PWC.
Sure thing, Wes, and thank you for coming on. I know a lot of people want to know what's going to happen this weekend, and that's a question we've been asking ourselves. We've been monitoring the system all week, getting prepared, trying to figure out what exactly is this storm going to do. The weather trends, the latest word I heard just a little bit ago is it's going to be a little bit warmer than what was being forecasted initially. And that's good news for our utility services. Anytime you have a winter weather, there's always a concern about excessive amount of freezing rain and ice building up that could knock out utility services, whether it's ice on branches and trees coming down and knocking out a line, or the number one cause of utility outages that we see in our area during a winter storm is actually from car accidents, where people are out driving, they hit maybe they hit a patch of ice, lose control, and run into a power line. So the good news is looks like there's going to be less ice accumulation from the system itself, so we do not anticipate to be that many power outages caused by ice on the limbs or on the wires. But we still want people to be prepared, because now is the time to be prepared. And as we know, anything about forecasts, it could change from hour to hour. And that's been one of the things we've been seeing with the system. It changes from hour to hour as they get more information in. So at PWC, we're monitoring the storm, monitoring the forecasts. We're hoping for the best, but we're being prepared for the worst. And we always want to advise people to always be prepared, because you don't want to be caught unready in a situation.
Gavin, over the years, our friends at PWC, you guys have educated us that it doesn't take a lot of ice to build up on a power line or a tree branch or a tree to fall over. Was it a quarter of an inch is enough to bring down a tree, or what was it?
Usually above 0.2 of an inch is when it can be a concern. We have fairly robust electric systems, so we start getting concerned when it gets above 0.5 inch. So right now it's looking like it's going to be below the threshold where we would have a lot of concerns. But there's not much you can do about trees if a tree's not properly. If you have a tree with a bad limb, or that might be sick, that could run the risk in a front yard coming down. You can't always predict that. At PWC, we have a very robust limb line clearing program where we send crews out to cut down tree limbs and branches and stuff like that might pose a hazard to our lines. That helps us not only during winter storm events, but also during tropical storm events. So we do that year round, not just before a storm. We're always in that phase. So we keep that going, and so that's one concern. But yeah, usually about quarter to 0.5 inch.
We were talking this morning on the air about it's a tough job you guys have. It looks to us, those of us who are not trained meteorologists, just if you're following it, we seem to be on the eastern side of the weather system, and then this changing forecast. It seems like those of you that are working to protect the community and the vital services, especially, obviously, most critical power, those fluctuating forecasts could make it tough. because on one side you don't want something to happen and people not be forewarned. On the other side, you don't want to over alarm folks, and then afterwards, folks will say, "Oh, well, that was nothing." So the credibility, it seems like it would be much more difficult than maybe it would seem.
Yes, it can make it challenging, but a lot of our messaging stays the same, and a lot of your preparation stays the same. At my household, I always have a 72-hour kit ready, and that's something that's encouraged by FEMA, emergency management, and a 72-hour kit is whatever you need to sustain your family, yourself, for 72 hours. So water, food, batteries, medication, anything that I would need to use over a 72-hour period, because that's usually the typical amount of time it can take for emergency services to reach you in an emergency. And the reason why we do that, because we are in the South, hurricanes come through. You can always have a strong thunderstorm come through with very high winds. You can have a winter storm. So it's always good to be prepared. So we always advise people, have your 72-hour kit prepared. The other thing I did is before the storm, personally, I went through my house. I went and changed out all my air filters on my HVAC system, so I'm not putting the strain in my HVAC system, so it runs more efficiently. I went through and I closed all the vents in my crawl space in my house, so that the cold air doesn't get underneath my house. So that way I can make sure I'm not running my HVAC system as much, because I'm keeping my house well insulated. Checking for gaps in my windows, gaps in my insulation on my doors, making sure everything's snug and secure and ready to go. I also have a generator just for my house because, again, storms can happen, hurricanes can happen, winter storms can happen. So something I can power up my house, or power up essential things that I would need during a storm. And I also know I have a good safe spot to set up my generator. So I don't want to set it up inside of indoors, because of the fumes can cause carbon monoxide. It's very dangerous. So I set mine up in the carport where it's well ventilated, and I have a plan to bring that electricity in through a extension cord into the house, so I can take care of the things I need inside. I make sure all my gasoline cans are filled up. And then after a storm, I use my gasoline either in my car or in my lawnmower or whatever I need to. But I always have that ready to go. Make sure my food's already well stocked and I'm ready to go. So yeah, the storm does change, but there's a lot of things you can do right before the storm. Prepare yourself that are good all year round, to always be prepared.
Gavin, we've got this information from the city of Fayetteville. The fast bus system is going to suspend at 3 o'clock tomorrow, Saturday the 24th. No services to be provided on Sunday the 24th. Okay, that's this Sunday. Fayetteville Cumberland Parks and Recreation has canceled basketball games for tomorrow, Saturday, January 24th. The FCPR facilities will remain open for any previously scheduled rentals, but otherwise will not operate. All facilities will be closed Sunday, the 25th, this Sunday. Facilities will delay morning openings to 10 a.m. on this coming Monday. An emergency shelter will open in the Westover Rec Center, 267 Bonanza Drive, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Passengers traveling through the Fayetteville Regional Airport should check with their airlines before arriving at the airport for the latest flight status. This all from the city of Fayetteville. Residents are encouraged to stay informed and be prepared, monitor official information, stay up to date on weather information. Residents are encouraged to stay off roads if possible, and if not, be extra cautious while driving. Drivers should reduce their speed. Driving at posted speeds could be extremely dangerous when snow or ice are on the road. It goes on to explain, I think we were talking about that before, vehicles lose traction at the higher speeds. City officials will continue to monitor the conditions. Let me reframe to you what I'm hearing and tell me if I'm understanding correctly. It sounds like at this moment, things could change, weather patterns could shift, but it sounds like PWC is not expecting any wide or major power outages, but y'all are paying close attention, and just like the city, and y'all are part of the city, y'all worked hand in hand. In talking off air, it sounded like we need to all be cautious because there will be some precipitation. There's going to be below freezing temperatures, so there's a good chance sidewalks, roads, ice. Is that mainly the concern? Top concern.
That's what I'm hearing. For us at PWC, we're monitoring, we're standing by. We have crews to respond to restore services if there is any utility outages over the weekend. I know Monday is going to be concerned with roads. And out of abundance of caution, and for the safety both of our customers and our team members, we're going to be delaying the opening of administrative offices, which would be including our customer payment center. So we'll be opening on 10 a.m. on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and closing at a normal time at 5:30 p.m.
Fantastic. Gavin, thank you so much. Those helpful tips, such as checking our filters to try to not over drain our HVAC systems, because when we were looking at the temperatures, it looked like we're not going to come at nighttime for about 12, 14 days. If the predictions hold true that we won't come above freezing, we're going to be very cold at night. Now, during the daytime, we're coming up in the 40s, which is encouraging. But it looks like we're going to experience some winter more than usual.
We're going to have a winter mix this weekend. I think that much we can expect. But yeah,
how about those cold temperatures in the evenings that become a part of people's utility bill, et cetera?
It's going to be cold the next week. It's, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be really cold on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Not getting above freezing too high. So it's going to be cold. So be prepared. And your system does work in overtime when it's cold like this. Your auxiliary heat, or sometimes also called your emergency heat, is going to kick in, because when it gets below 40 degrees, the HVAC system relies on that to be able to keep your house warm. So that is, I want to say, about 3 times more energy consumed by your auxiliary heat versus your normal heat pump. So keep in mind, I know for me, what I do is I move that temperature down even lower, and I wear warmer clothes to help save money, because that's a lot of usage. And so, like, I'll put on sweatpants and a nice warm sweater to keep me warm, and nice blankets to sleep in at night. And I might set my thermostat a little bit lower, 64, or 65 degrees. And the other thing I also try to do is to limit how many degrees I change at a time on your thermostat. So if you have your thermostat set to, let's say, 65 and you want it to be 70 degrees, if you jump it from 65 to 70 degrees, your HVAC system is going to automatically kick in the auxiliary heat to bring it back up. So we tell people usually do it about 2 degrees at a time. So I have mine set, I might set it 65, then 67 for an hour, and then for the next hour I go to 69, and then for the final I might hit 70. So I'm gradually raising that temperature up, but that keeps the auxiliary heat from kicking in, and it saves me at the end of the month when it comes time for me to pay my bill. Excellent advice. Would it be fair to say, and I want to give you the last word, that PWC, the team, is watching this weather closely, and if there's any critical changes, we'll hear about it, so folks can take comfort that you guys are well dialed into this? Absolutely. And we encourage you, if you have any questions and you're looking for other tips on what to do to prepare before the storm, or how to save money on your electric bill, you can visit our website at faypwc.com. And we have a special page that's set up for faypwc, faypwc.com/storm-central. Where we have a lot of useful information. So you can see the link for Storm Central on the main page. Click on it and get a lot of good, valuable information. Gavin, thank you so much. Let me give you the final word. In closing, thanks for coming by. We've got a winter storm. The latest, in case somebody's just tuning in, sounds like things don't look terrible at the moment. Yeah, we do not anticipate to be as impactful as we thought it was going to be earlier in the week based on the forecast. But like I said, forecasts can always change. So at PWC, we're prepared for the worst situation, and we encourage people to also be prepared